how you guys go about things is above and beyond anything I have ever seen in my entire life. It's a new level of caring. Like the calls per week are massive. I could be on 9 calls a week. The service in VoIP's programs is above and beyond. I want to reiterate that. You know, Darren, talk's cheap, isn't it? There's too many people over promising and under delivering, and this is not happening here.
Where were you when you first came in? Where are you now? And some of the lessons you've learned yourself and some of the experiences you've had.
Well, I came in several months ago to the program because I wanted to extend my network, and I don't want to use scale my business, but I want to say expand my business. I think scale's overused. Excuse me. I want to expand and make more of a difference. That's actually why I came on. And yes, I wanted to make more money as well. I wanted to make more money in my 70s decade than I'd made in my entire life. And that's still my goal. I haven't deterred from that. And in month 3, I almost tripled my income. So I want to say that up front. It was astonishing.
And how do you feel about that, right? Because if you don't mind me saying, like you're 71 years old, and many people who are 71 are complaining about everything. Many people who are my age who are 30 are also complaining about everything. So like, how does that, just like your own personal opinion of that? Because many people would say that wasn't possible.
I think anything's impossible. Sorry, everything is possible. Let me say that. And it's all about attitude. And I know there's a lot of people my age sitting on recliners, hoping, tiptoeing through life, hoping to make it safely to death, as my friend used to say. But I've never been that person. I have always had goals. Nothing's changed. I've had goals since I was young. Someone once said to me, "You're a self-made woman," and I think that's true. And I understand that more in my latter years than I did when I was younger. And I wanted to also come into a community that was very inclusive, that what you offered was for everyone. And I've often been well, I've felt that I've been on the outer because of my age, and I don't feel like this at all here. It's so inclusive, and the only one that brings up my age sometimes is me because that's what I'm focusing on my marketing, over 50s. Because over 50s, they don't think they're good enough. They don't think they can reinvent themselves. They think they're too old. And I think that's a load of rubbish. So I came in to help change that in my messaging out there. And I have to say that I'm actually doing that. And that's quite remarkable.
And the thing is, like, you should be so proud of yourself because what I always say, like, this is a perfect example of it, is if you're younger, you've all the energy in the world, but you've no brain cells. If you're on the older side, you have life experience, lived experience, nuance, expertise, but you just may not know the bells and whistles of like the tech platforms and so on. But both people can learn it. They just have to be willing and able to learn it. I think that's like a perfect example of yourself, right? Like that's, and I'd love to get into nitty gritty of how you did things too, right? Because you're just open and receptive to learning. So that's why it works, right? Because most people are not receptive. So what I'd love to ask you on this is like, you talked about like you did very well in like your third month. Can you go through the nuances of like what you actually did in those like 90-day period of time? Like what was going on in the sales process and the offer process and everything?
The structure was very different. I had a plan, and I'm big on 90-day plans. That's what I teach my clients. So I decided that in order to get to my goal, which was to increase my income and to make more impact, I had to change my structure. And through your programs, I did exactly that. I re-offered some people that had been with me for years because I've been on the online space for 10 years in June. And I had never thought about that before. And that was a simple shift that I hadn't seen before that just was illuminating for me. It was a breath of fresh air. I was like, wow, of course that makes sense. And the second thing I did was I started working on being way more intentional with my message. And that changed everything. Rather than because I'm someone who's consistently posting. I don't pick my business up and drop it the next day. I keep working on it. I'm not someone that goes to sleep on the job, so to speak. And over the last few months, that has got clearer and clearer. Um, my structure in my posting has been getting more and more fine-tuned, and I couldn't have done that on my own, Darren. I couldn't, not a hope in hell. I really needed some direction, some strategy, and I love the strategy here and the training to back it up. I've never seen such comprehensive training. And initially, I was a bit like, "Oh, this is too much," and then I just started to bite off little pieces at a time, and that's actually how I've got to this point 5 months in.
The way I think about it is like you need to understand what the map is before you can take your first train ride. You need to understand where you're going, what does that look like, and then we just understand, okay, where do you want to go to first? Do you want to go there by air, travel, bike, car? Do you want to hit the horse or do you want to hit the Porsche? And that's a really, really good example because you kind of have a plan, have a path, and then you do it. I think one thing that I really, really want to emphasize, and one of the most impressive things about you, without a doubt, is the DMs. Like, there is nobody in the world that has done what you did. So, just for context, it was almost 2,000 DMs in one weekend. Is that correct? If you give people some context on that. What was that process?
It was just over 2,000, um, in, 2.5 days, and my hand was so sore, but I had a mission and I was like, "I'm just gonna do this," "I am gonna do this," and admittedly, my executive assistant helped me, but we were just head down, and she said, "Oh, my hand's sore," and I said, "So's mine," and we just stuck to the task, and I love how you bring that up because 'cause I'd forgotten about that, and from there on, I think it proved to us that we could do this, and I was like, "Oh, let's just do more of this." And I spend a lot more times in my DMs than I've have in my entire 10 years, honestly. And from that moment, my outbound is elevated. And they're not just robotic messages. So don't think that for a minute if you're listening to this. Excuse me. They are thought through messages under the guidance of the training. There's so much training on this. I'm not expected to just sit there and go, "Oh, what the hell do I send people?" There's structured, there's templates I can use, and then I personalize them, and I love that. I love that. That's helped me amazingly.
And it's funny because with the new program that we have now as well, that's even taken to the next level where it's like, here's all the DMs that I've personally written for our business. Here's how to use this for your business. Does that make sense? It's not just like, here's like a fucking template. It's like, here's actually the roadmap of how to actually do this from a company that's booked thousands of calls and from clients who've booked tens of thousands of calls. So I'd love to get some insight into like the realizations you had. So that the DM realization is very interesting, but what did that make you realize though? Like specifically around sales, and one important question is about what did that make you realize about what's important in your business?
Oh, it was like it was like sunlight upon shade. The difference is huge. I've gone from content focused and not specific content to very specific content, but more specific communication in the DMs, actually engaging and talking to people. I never knew the value of that till I joined this program. Huge. And it's changed everything, everything about how I do things. And I've always been someone that's like, what's my intention? I sit here every day, I go, what's my intention? And so I'm much more intentional about my DMs. I think it's a huge priority in my business. In fact, right now, I would say, along with sales, is up there as number one.
How have you found the calls? Because of course now you're booking more calls. A lot of them are coming in from like cold traffic and stuff as well. So or colder traffic, just maybe still from warm content though. How have you found yourself on the calls? Like, do you feel like you're getting to grips with stuff? You feel like you're learning? How's that process?
For context, the way that I ran my calls before this, there's a before and after, isn't there? Before I joined the program, I had my own little system, and now I've had to learn a different system, which is far superior than what I was using. And yes, I'll be honest, it's been a vertical learning curve, and to be critiqued on those calls is massive. Uh, I use your Aura program, and AI is critiquing me. And, the other day I was shocked after a sales call. I read what AI said about me. I was like, "Ugh." I won't say what I said. But, then I just started laughing because it was right on the money. There was a point when I didn't do what I actually was training to do. And honest to God, for someone my age, it's like riding a bike this way. And now I'm being told, no, no, you have to ride the bike this way. You have to use these pedals, these mechanisms. And I'm like, holy crap, how can I do that? And how I've done it and how I'm doing it, like today, how am I doing it, is just keep learning the process, learn the process. And I have to keep doing it repetitively. It's repetition, repetition. And I'd really like, 30 calls a day so I could get better quicker because I want everything yesterday. I'm not happy to wait till tomorrow, but I now know where I'm aiming for. Whereas before the program, I knew I just wanted to work with more people, but now I've actually got the steps, and I might not like it. On a shitty day, I don't like it, Darren. But I get over myself very quickly. I just think, oh, for God's sake, have a giggle and pick it up again and go again, or go and have a coffee or talk to the dogs.
It's your spirit though, that's the biggest thing. So I think what would be really good advice for other people, so majority of the people we work with are female entrepreneurs, and we have people that are in like an older demographic, so plus 40. What advice would you have for them, just your own personal advice, on how to do this stuff, like how to actually do this? Because like you have a great mindset for it, and this would be very valuable for people, because people are like, people are genuinely like, how the fuck does this woman do this? Genuinely, that's what goes through people's head. I think this is a big testament to your character as well. So I'd love to get your advice on that.
To be blunt, how the fuck do I do this? I get up every day with great intention. And I've fallen over before, been bankrupt, haven't been able to pay the rent, lost my car, but worked in detention centres. All of those things prepared me for this moment right now. And you say, oh, I've heard this before, but I've worked on myself for years. I've done therapy. I've always been open to training. I've always been open to new ideas, and I'm always evolving. So if you're sitting here thinking, how the fuck does she do it? I just get up every day and do it. I don't go, what if? What if I fail? What if? What if? I just go, no, stay focused, stay focused, stay focused. And I watch my mindset every day. Is it easy every day? Hell no, it's not. Some days I have to really correct myself. And how I do that is I remind myself what it's like to have stinking thinking and how much better I feel when I'm motivated and clear. So I can change my mindset now in a heartbeat. And that's
And that's the biggest thing.
it's huge. And I notice people want to stay in that stinking thinking for a very long time. And what is the point? And I'm let's face it, I'm at the other end. You're 30, I'm 71. I need to get my bloody skates on and run like hell. I've got a bit of catch up.
But it's the motivation though, I think the biggest thing as well, that okay, like of course like the money's great and you have the systems, you have the process, but big thing for me is like, what does this actually mean to you? Like what have you been able to just like, even like your self-confidence wise, or like personally, like why do you do what you're doing? So now that you're getting good results and you're seeing that positive feedback loop, like what's the underlying why as to why you're doing things in your business?
Oh, I just get excited about what my clients are doing. One of my clients the other day, who's late 50s, said on one of my group coaching calls, this is the first time in her life she stood up for herself. She stood up. She said, I don't like this and I want it to be different. Was she nervous? Hell yeah. Was this a vertical learning curve? Absolutely. And she said, it's the first time in my life I've done that. And guess what? I negotiated what I wanted. Now I was nearly in tears. That means a lot. Yes, and there's people making money now. That means a lot as well. But if someone can sit there and say, hey, I'm sticking up for myself now, I think that's just amazing, because we all have the right to be heard, to be seen, and to be acknowledged. And she's just absolutely thrilled. You couldn't take the smile off her face.
And if I was to encapsulate that, that's the impact part that you have, like that you want to achieve, should I say. So like it sounds like to me that one of the biggest goals personally and professionally is to have that impact with your clients, not just to be recognized, but to be able to genuinely help so many people, which is why growing your business has allowed you to get that. Like, would you say like that's basically to sum it all up?
Oh, absolutely, because I see so many people sitting on knowledge, 50 plus, Like I hear people say, oh, I've only got 2 more years and I get this is in Australia, long service leave. Yeah, do you like your job? No, I hate it. What's the point of that? I think that we have to do what makes our heart sing. That's my fundamental belief. If you're not doing what your heart makes you sing, like get out of it, stop it right now, stop whatever you're doing. You have to be happy. You have to do what absolutely puts you in your flow and where you're making a difference. Now I feel like I'm on this real bloody rampage. It's a rampage. There's a good word. A rampage to get people off their butts to do more, that are sitting there looking at television for hours on end. So, yes, the money's good, but I think this drives me way more than any money will ever do for me, Darren.
100%. So that is the impact play, and for everyone it's different, right? So for you, for me and you were very, very similar. It's like our values are like impact with people, but for some people, like a lot of our clients that you would know, their impact could be having money to spend time with their kids or be able to have kids. So like Alex just had a baby, and it's like they want to make money to have that family bucket. Some people want to have their time back to have more health, but for us, like our values are like the business, which is it's just an interesting observation. Now, there's no right or wrong answer here, but it's just good to hear like from your perspective, like, oh, like that's what lights you up specifically, because it's kind of similar to me.
Yes, and it's funny you said something about confidence, and I've always thought that I am a confident person, but I've noticed there's different levels, isn't there, of confidence? And my confidence, a simple example. Now I'm doing videos, 49 seconds, nailing it. 6 months ago, I'd ramble on, then get to the point, then ramble on a bit more. Now, 49 seconds, 30 seconds, bang. And that's so exciting. I love it. Like if you listen to my videos and you like them, please tell me, because I'm just having fun making them. And it's but down to intention, isn't it? There's that word again. It's about your intention.
The intentions, having the right plan, having the right goal at the end of it, and then like what does that actually mean for you? Does that make sense? It's all put together. So yeah, I'm super, super grateful for you. Super excited as well for the next couple of months. I'm really excited for the mastermind. I think it's long overdue as well for you to come to Bali, hang out with us for a bit, spend the weekend, and yeah, I really, really appreciate you.
Yeah, I think the other thing that needs to be said here is that, as I said, I'm 71. I've probably been in my professional life, been in about 5 coaching programs, all very different. This is the first time that I've chosen to work with a male, and that was very deliberate. I saw you, liked you, felt aligned with you, had no idea that you were 30. Like, that's just bloody shocking in some respects. But how you guys go about things is above and beyond anything I have ever seen in my entire life. Any programs I've sat and watched. I've never seen this. I don't even want to say customer care, client. It's a new level of caring. It's a new, like the calls per week are massive. I could be on 8, 9 calls a week. And I've got my one-to-one clients and my groups and that, so I can't be on that many because, there's lots of clashes. But the service in VoIP programs is above and beyond. I want to reiterate that because people, Darren, talks cheap, isn't it? There's too many people over promising and under delivering, and this is not happening here. In some respects, you're under promising and over delivering, and my turn to say I'm not blowing smoke up your butt. That, that's the truth.
That's what a lot of business is, right? You set low expectations and you over deliver, and then people stay with you and they want to stay with you. That's the biggest thing, What I always say is that people want to stay with you as long as they don't hate you. That's the biggest thing. Mary, you're an absolute legend. I'm really, 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 really grateful for you on a personal level, not just on a professional level. And yeah, I'm super excited for you to come. And that's why I said it to you before as well. I was like, hook or by crook, we're going to spend a lot of time together this year. That's the plan.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm looking forward to it. I love the community. Thank you. Thanks for chatting with me. It's just lovely.